What if the drinks you trust most, the ones you buy in bulk to save money and protect your health, were quietly doing the opposite?
I drank an entire poppy last night, just one, and I have not had stomach pain like that.
Give you the confidence. Delusion.
Classic cola. I would never recommend to anyone. It's disgusting. Do not drink this one.
Across America, millions of Costco carts are stacked high with beverages marketed as clean, energizing, or even good for you. But new research from 2024 and 2025 has uncovered hidden dangers. Toxic forever chemicals measured in parts per trillion, sugar loads that rival soda, and artificial dyes banned overseas but still poured into our glasses here. So how many of these bottles and cans in your fridge are actually slow dripping damage into your body? And if the very drinks you count on to hydrate, energize, or nourish your family might be shaving years off your life?
Kirkland sparkling water. Preservatives, artificial colors, natural flavors, garbage.
What else in our food culture is built on the same dangerous illusion? This is the Downturn Report, where the truth gets personal. Today we're pulling back the curtain on 6 Costco drinks you should never buy, and why knowing the truth now could change what you put in your cart forever. Number 1. Poppy Prebiotic Soda. Walk into Costco on a Saturday afternoon, and it's like stepping into the Super Bowl of shopping with towering displays, sample stands luring you in, and deals so big you almost feel like you're cheating the system. Poppy Prebiotic Soda fits perfectly into that stage show. The cans beam with bright, almost Instagram-filtered colors. The tagline, "Be gut happy, be gut healthy," practically winking at you like a friendly neighbor at the backyard barbecue. You toss a pack into your cart without thinking twice, picturing your digestive system doing a victory dance as you sip. But here's the gut-twisting question. What if that smiley promise was as thin as the aluminum it's printed on? In the summer of 2025, Poppy found itself in the headlines for all the wrong reasons. An $8.9 million class action settlement over claims that its health-boosting marketing was, well, mostly hot air. The lawsuit revealed each can contains just 2 grams of prebiotic fiber, a laughably small amount compared to what's actually needed for gut health. Doctors will tell you that true digestive benefits come from a far higher intake, usually from real foods, not a token sprinkle in a soda. For older shoppers, carefully budgeting every grocery trip, watching their sugar, and fighting to stay healthy without adding more pills to the bathroom shelf, paying extra for such a tiny benefit feels less like a treat and more like being sold a balloon with no air inside. And this is where the story gets even more unsettling. The booming better-for-you drink industry has learned all the tricks of Big Soda's old playbook, but now the cans wear halos instead of warning labels. Many of these so-called wellness drinks are built on the same shaky foundation, flavor, and branding first. Proof and real benefit a distant second. It's like paying for a high-dollar gym membership only to find out the treadmill's unplugged. Costco's role isn't just a background detail, it's the megaphone. This isn't a fringe item hidden on a bottom shelf. It's front and center in the store and splashed online. When Costco backs a product, shoppers feel like they're buying into the company's famous promise of quality and value. That's exactly why this stings for older Americans, because this is about trust. And when that trust is traded in for a sales boost, the wound cuts deeper than the wallet. It reaches into the heart, where health is tied to the hope of more years with family. Still, step back for a moment and you can see the larger storm at play. In today's functional beverage gold rush, the pressure to stand out can push brands towards shinier claims and prettier labels. The system rewards appearance over performance, making truth an expensive gamble. And that leaves us with a hard, sobering thought. How many other so-called miracle drinks are quietly serving up the same tiny returns under a glossy smile? Maybe that's why the safer move is to keep the fizz but lose the false hope. Plain seltzer with a squeeze of fresh lemon or lime costs pennies and delivers refreshment without empty promises. Sparkling waters flavored only with real fruit juice offer a clean taste with nothing to hide. Brew black or green tea at home. Chill it, toss in mint or citrus peel, and you've got a drink with antioxidants and zero marketing spin. And if gut health is truly the goal, a teaspoon of psyllium husk in water or tea gives you more fiber in one glass than a whole case of Poppy. But here's the question that lingers long after the cart is unloaded. When the line between wellness and wishful thinking is blurred by design, what kind of food culture are we really building for the generations who will inherit it? Number 2. Kirkland bottled water. Walk past the towering pallets of Kirkland Signature bottled water at Costco, and it's easy to feel like you're seeing the ultimate symbol of smart shopping. The price is low enough to barely register on your receipt. The cases stack neatly in your trunk, and there's a certain peace of mind that comes from knowing you've got gallons ready for road trips, ball games, or those just-in-case moments. The label promises purity, the branding leans into trust, and the clear liquid inside looks as harmless as a mountain stream in a postcard. But in 2025, that crystal clear image cracked, and what spilled out wasn't so easy to swallow. Earlier this year, an independent consumer advocacy lab shook up the bottled water aisle by releasing a report showing elevated levels of microplastics in several big-name brands, Kirkland included. Microplastics aren't just tiny pieces of bottled debris swirling harmlessly in the water. They're microscopic gatecrashers capable of building up in our tissues, sneaking past the blood-brain barrier, and sparking inflammation. Studies from 2024 and 2025 are now connecting long-term microplastic consumption to possible hormonal disruptions, immune system stress, and even cardiovascular strain. Picture yourself sipping what you believe is the purest drink in the world, while invisible plastic fragments slowly embed themselves into the very fabric of your body. That's not hydration, but a slow, silent trespass, isn't it? What makes this even more disturbing is that the science isn't coming from fringe blogs or alarmist headlines. It's in peer-reviewed journals and official health bulletins. Europe is already moving toward stricter rules on microplastics in bottled water, but here in the US, there's still no enforceable limit. For older Americans whose immune defenses may not be what they once were, the idea of turning daily hydration into a delivery system for pollutants is downright alarming. Then there's the truth about the source. Much of Kirkland bottled water is drawn from municipal supplies, filtered and rebottled. It's legal, it's on the label, but it's also something many customers would never guess because bottled water still carries the mental image of hidden springs and untouched wilderness. That gap between what we believe we're buying and what we're actually getting is a fracture in trust. And when you add in the mountains of single-use plastic needed to keep this system running, the environmental cost becomes another invisible line on the bill we'll all be paying for years. To be clear, Kirkland's water isn't tainted with the usual lineup of chemical villains. No titanium dioxide, no synthetic dyes, no artificial sweeteners. The danger here is stealth contamination from the very bottles meant to protect it, and a marketing narrative that sells more peace of mind than proven purity. In a country where the safety of tap water can swing wildly from one zip code to the next, it's no wonder bottled water feels like the safer choice. But if the bottle itself compromises that safety, where exactly does that leave us? Costco isn't the lone player in this game. The entire bottled water industry is under the same pressure. People want purity, but mass-scale bottling means industrial systems, rivers of plastic, and higher odds of microplastic contamination. The very scale that makes Kirkland so affordable also makes it more vulnerable to the same hidden flaws affecting its competitors. If you want cleaner water without the plastic gamble, there's a way forward that doesn't mean hauling jugs from the store. An NSF-certified under-sink or countertop filter, preferably one proven by third-party tests to remove microplastics and PFAS, can pay for itself within months and cut your waste to zero. For portability, a stainless steel or glass reusable bottle filled at home gives you the convenience without the packaging. And yes, even Costco offers seasonal deals on filtration systems that make this switch easier than most think. So the next time you reach for that shrink-wrapped case, maybe pause and ask yourself, are you buying water, or are you buying the feeling of safety that comes with it? And if that feeling turns out to be as fragile as the plastic wrap holding those bottles together, how many other illusions are we quietly drinking every single day? Number 3. Kirkland Signature Coffee. The smell hits you before you even turn down the aisle. Warm, earthy, almost like it's inviting you to slow down for a second. Stacks of Kirkland Signature coffee bags sit like rows of treasure chests, each promising rich flavor and premium quality without the cafe price tag. It's the kind of purchase that feels smart and indulgent at the same time, a little luxury you can justify because you're buying in bulk. The packaging talks about roast perfection and quality you can taste, planting the image of a product crafted with care. But this year, that image has been clouded by a truth that's far less comforting, one that turns that morning aroma into something you can't ignore. In April of 2025, a California-based consumer lab released findings that hit coffee drinkers where it hurts, tests on multiple mass-produced coffees, including Kirkland's Colombian Supremo and Espresso blend, showed concerning levels of acrylamide, a chemical that forms during high-temperature roasting. The International Agency for Research on Cancer, IARC, classifies acrylamide as a probable human carcinogen, with studies linking it to nervous system damage and reproductive harm in animals. The European Union has already set strict limits for acrylamide in coffee, and some EU countries are pushing for even lower thresholds. Here in the United States, no federal limit. That means older Americans who sip 2, 3, maybe even 4 cups a day are left to trust that industry self-policing is enough, when history tells us it rarely is. And the bitter aftertaste doesn't end with chemicals. A 2024 labor watchdog report from Latin America documented wage theft, unsafe working conditions, and even child labor on certain coffee plantations that supply major U.S. roasters. The report didn't name Kirkland directly, but the sourcing regions and intermediary exporters match public import data linked to Costco's coffee supply. For a product marketed with language about craftsmanship and care, the thought that the beans might be tied to exploitation adds a human cost you'll never see on the price tag. This isn't just about one chemical or one unfair paycheck. It's about an American coffee culture that too often puts cheap volume ahead of health and humanity. Acrylamide exposure builds slowly, cup after cup, year after year. Labor abuse happens in real time, stripping away livelihoods while we stir in our sugar and cream. For seniors already facing higher cancer risks and decades of accumulated toxin exposure, every unnecessary chemical is a gamble they didn't sign up for. And if that bargain brew is also built on the backs of underpaid workers thousands of miles away, the deal starts to look like something else entirely. It's worth noting, Kirkland coffee doesn't contain the well-known synthetic culprits. No Red 40, no Yellow 5, no BHA, no TBHQ. But that doesn't erase the acrylamide problem. This chemical isn't an accidental contaminant. It's baked in by the roasting process. The EU has shown it's possible to reduce levels significantly through different roasting techniques and bean selection, which leaves us wondering, if European roasters can do it under stricter laws, why is the American standard still so lax? If you're not ready to give up Costco coffee altogether, you can make changes that matter. Their organic whole bean coffees from regions with stronger labor oversight are a better bet, and lighter roasts typically contain less acrylamide than darker ones. Specialty roasters outside of Costco sometimes publish third-party lab results for acrylamide and pesticide levels, transparency that bulk brands almost never offer. For those on a budget, buying green coffee beans and roasting them lightly at home, even in a simple popcorn air popper, gives you control over both flavor and chemical exposure. Or try blending roasted beans with a portion of unroasted parchment coffee to cut acrylamide while stretching your supply. Kirkland coffee has earned its spot in countless American kitchens because it's affordable, accessible, and familiar. But in 2025, affordability comes with questions that don't fit neatly on a label. How much risk are we willing to drink with our morning caffeine, and when our daily pick-me-up may be quietly shortening the future? Not just for us, but for the people who grew it. What exactly are we toasting to? Number 4. Kirkland Signature Sparkling Water. It's easy to see why so many Costco shoppers wheel out carts stacked high with Kirkland Signature Sparkling Water. The cans are neat, the flavors, lime, grapefruit, black raspberry, sound like a summer afternoon in a glass, and the promise of 0 calories, 0 sugar, 0 sweeteners is like a badge of honor for anyone trying to kick soda. You feel smart buying it, like you've hacked the system. Refreshment without the guilt. But in 2025, that confident choice was pulled into the center of a chemical storm that's been building for years. In March of this year, a national environmental health nonprofit released lab results showing PFAS, per, and polyfluoroalkyl substances present in multiple flavored sparkling waters, including Kirkland's lemon and grapefruit varieties. These so-called forever chemicals have earned their nickname for a reason. They don't break down in the environment or the human body, instead accumulating over time. Study after study has linked them to thyroid disorders, kidney and liver damage, certain cancers, developmental issues in children, and even weakened immune response to vaccines. The levels detected in Kirkland's drinks were above the thresholds proposed in the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency's 2024 draft standards for drinking water. Thresholds so tiny they're measured in parts per trillion, yet still enough to raise alarms in the scientific community. Europe is already taking a hard stance. Most PFAS uses are set to be phased out across the European Union by 2030, and several member states have already banned them outright in food contact materials. Here in the United States, though, binding national limits remain years away. That delay matters. For older Americans whose kidneys, livers, and immune systems are already working harder to keep them healthy, the idea of sipping a drink that delivers chemicals designed to last forever in the body isn't just unpleasant. It's a quiet, persistent threat to longevity. The unsettling part is that no one's sprinkling PFAS into these drinks for flavor or fizz. They leach into the liquid from flavoring compounds, from the linings inside cans, or from the equipment used in processing. That makes them easy to overlook and even easier to ignore. A label screaming 0 calories, 0 sugar, 0 sweeteners reads like a clean bill of health. But a clean label doesn't mean clean in a lab test. And this isn't just a chemical issue, it's a cultural one. We've built an American beverage habit around convenience, flavor, and branding, while quietly importing a chemical legacy that could weigh on the health of our children and grandchildren for decades to come. For many Costco members, especially older adults who swapped soda for sparkling water to manage weight, blood pressure, or diabetes risk, this feels like a gut punch. You think you found the safe choice, only to learn it might be undermining the very health you're trying to protect. That irony is sharp enough to make you rethink every can in the fridge. There are ways to keep the fizz without swallowing the risk. A SodaStream or Arky carbonator paired with an NSF-certified filter proven to remove PFAS can give you the sparkle you crave without the chemical hitchhikers. Add fresh lemon, lime, or a splash of real fruit juice for flavor you can actually trust. Even in Costco's own aisles, you can look for glass-bottled sparkling waters like San Pellegrino or Perrier. Brands that independent tests have shown tend to have lower PFAS levels, though the latest data should always be checked. Kirkland signature. Sparkling water isn't going to disappear from carts anytime soon. It's cheap, it's tasty, and it sells the story of health in a can. But the 2025 PFAS findings demand a harder question. If even the drinks we reach for in the name of health can quietly carry chemicals built to last forever, how many other invisible passengers are riding along in the beverages we trust most? Number 5. Monster Energy Drink. You can spot them from halfway across the warehouse. The towering black walls of Monster Energy Drink multi-packs, each can slashed with those neon claw marks that practically growl, "Come on, keep up." For anyone grinding through 12-hour shifts, juggling side hustles, or chasing deadlines on little sleep, Monster feels less like a treat and more like a lifeline. Instant caffeine, bold flavor, and the mental shove to push through exhaustion. And when Costco sells that jolt for under $1 a can, the temptation is as loud as the branding. But in 2024 and 2025, a series of warnings from health experts turned that tempting stack into something worth thinking twice about. Late last year, the American Heart Association issued a public health advisory calling out high-caffeine energy drinks like Monster after reviewing new research on their short-term cardiovascular effects. Just one 16-ounce can, about 160 milligrams of caffeine, was shown to cause a spike in blood pressure, disruptions in heart rhythm, and a surge in stress hormones within 90 minutes. For older adults or anyone with hidden heart issues, that's a dangerous chemical jolt. And Costco's multi-pack formula isn't tamed down. It's the same blend of caffeine, taurine, guarana, and other stimulants, all of which can magnify the strain on the cardiovascular system. The concerns don't stop with caffeine. Many of Monster's most popular flavors contain synthetic dyes like Yellow 5 and Red 40. Both are banned in certain European countries due to suspected links to hyperactivity and behavioral changes in children, and the European Union still requires warning labels when these dyes are present. Red 40 in particular has been the subject of decades of scrutiny, with studies suggesting it may promote inflammation and allergic reactions in sensitive individuals. Yet in the United States, no such warnings will ever appear on those Costco boxes. And then there's the sugar. A standard 16-ounce can of original Monster contains 54 grams, more than double the American Heart Association's recommended daily limit for men, and nearly triple for women. That's not just about adding inches to your waistline. Excess sugar intake is directly tied to type 2 diabetes, fatty liver disease, and long-term heart damage. Even the sugar-free Monsters, which Costco often sells alongside the originals, aren't a free pass. They replace sugar with artificial sweeteners like sucralose and acetylsulfame K. both of which are permitted in the EU but remain under watch by European health authorities for potential links to gut microbiome disruption and altered glucose tolerance. Research is still unfolding, but the early signs suggest that sugar-free might simply mean swapping one risk for another. Culturally, Monster fits neatly into an American pattern. Ignore the body's exhaustion. Mask the fatigue, push harder, and think about the consequences later. But that later can come faster than expected. In 2025, pediatricians reported more ER visits among teens and young adults for heart palpitations and panic attacks linked directly to energy drink consumption. And when a warehouse club sells these in bulk, the unspoken nudge is clear. Keep them on hand, drink them often. That's not just a sales tactic, it's shaping habits that ripple through households and across generations. There are ways to get a boost without taking on the same chemical baggage. A strong cup of black coffee delivers caffeine without the red 40, yellow 5, or sky-high sugar content. Costco's organic coffee beans or quality teas can be brewed hot or iced for a steady lift. If hydration and alertness are the goal, sparkling mineral water with fresh lemon and a pinch of sea salt can replenish electrolytes without overstimulating your system, and pairing moderate caffeine, like the gentle buzz of green tea, with a protein-rich snack can give you lasting energy without the crash that follows a Monster high. Monster's Costco packs will keep selling because they're flashy, affordable, and engineered to be habit-forming, but the question in 2025 isn't whether they work to keep you awake. It's whether the hours they buy you today are worth the years they might quietly shave off tomorrow. And in a country already wrestling with the health of its next generation, how much longer can we afford to treat borrowed energy like it's free? Number 6. Naked juice smoothies. They catch your eye the moment you pass the chilled section. Bright, cheerful bottles lined up like soldiers in a parade, covered with pictures of ripe berries, golden mangoes, and fresh green leaves. The labels seem to wink with reassurance. No added sugar. All natural. It's the kind of product you imagine slipping into your grandkid's lunch bag and feeling proud, certain you're arming them with a vitamin-packed defense against junk food. But peel back the charm, and what's inside these bottles has far more in common with a can of soda than a bowl of fresh salad. In February 2025, an independent U.S. dietary watchdog ran a nutritional analysis on multiple naked juice flavors, including the same ones bundled in Costco's variety packs. The numbers were sobering. 40 to 53 grams of sugar in every 15.2-ounce bottle. That's as much, or in some cases, more. Sugar than a can of Coca-Cola. And while most of that sugar is naturally occurring from fruit juice concentrates, your body doesn't care where it came from. Without the fiber of whole fruit to slow digestion, the metabolic effect is identical. A blood sugar spike sharp enough to light up a glucose monitor, followed by the crash that leaves you drained. For older adults dealing with diabetes or even just hovering in pre-diabetic territory. That spike and crash cycle can mean nerve damage, kidney stress, and long-term cardiovascular wear and tear. The American Heart Association recommends limiting added sugar to 25 to 36 grams a day, but make no mistake, in liquid form, fruit sugar still hits the bloodstream just as fast. The problem is baked into the process. Naked juice relies heavily on fruit juice concentrates, stripped of nearly all their fiber with much of the fruit's natural micronutrient complexity lost along the way. What's left is a dense hit of sugar that behaves less like fresh fruit and more like a sweetened soft drink once it's in your system. Harvard public health researchers reaffirmed in 2024 that whole fruits lower chronic disease risk, but fruit juices, even all natural ones, are linked to higher rates of obesity and type 2 diabetes when consumed regularly. Fiber is the natural brake pedal. Without it, these smoothies go from nature's candy to just candy. It's true naked juice avoids certain chemical suspects. No titanium dioxide, no red 40, no aspartame. But the sugar load itself is its own hazard. Some nutrition advocates are pushing for warning symbols on the front of high-sugar drink bottles, similar to the black stop sign labels Chile uses, to make it clear that no added sugar does not mean low sugar. The European Union is debating rules to force disclosure of total sugar content on the front of all drink packaging, whether the sugar is added or naturally occurring. In the US, Costco shoppers get no such heads up. Just the friendly labels and a price that makes buying by the case feel like a win. Culturally, naked juice has perfected the art of health washing. It taps into the American instinct to eat more fruit, and packages it into something portable, skipping the work of peeling, washing, and chewing, but also stripping away much of what makes whole fruit protective. For older adults looking for convenience, it feels like the perfect compromise, until you realize it might be quietly speeding up the very chronic diseases you're trying to hold off. And when kids grow up seeing these ultra-sweet drinks as healthy, the habit gets passed on, normalizing sugar saturation under a green halo. If it's nutrients you're after without the sugar crash, Costco already has the building blocks. Frozen organic berries blended with water, ice, and a handful of spinach keep the fiber intact and give you control over sweetness. Their plain Greek yogurt can be blended with fresh fruit for a creamy, protein-rich smoothie that steadies blood sugar instead of spiking it. If you must buy bottled, aim for under 15 grams of sugar per serving and at least 3 to 5 grams of fiber. Numbers you won't see on most Naked Juice labels. Naked Juice variety packs will keep flying off Costco shelves because they're sweet, convenient, and wrapped in a feel-good story. But here in 2025, the real question isn't whether they taste good or even whether they're natural. It's whether calling something a health drink changes the fact that, in your body, it behaves an awful lot like dessert in a bottle. Let's protect our health and future. Subscribe now for more truths they don't want you to know. Your awareness starts here.
Thank you for watching all the way to the end. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss our daily content. Now feel free to check out some of the newest and best videos currently shown on your screen. Goodbye, and see you in the next video.